All right, moving right along to a topic that's not hot at all the last month, and you know, by a guy who rules the world at the moment. So, with that, let's talk some tariffs.
Oh man.
All right, guys. So, definitely independent still. I'm definitely still leaning right. I got to bring something up though. Everybody just thinks they know. First off, I just love any topic the president, not just talking about President Trump, Biden, going back. Any topic where everybody just knows. They know best. They're fully acknowledged of the topic. I'm telling you, a lot of people don't understand tariffs, and you guys can all look this up. But the reason I think they got the best pit bull in this spot for this particular war, this has been waiting to happen a long time. America's been getting crapped on a long time here. But one of the things people never realized is if you go to, I own a Kia Soul. That is a Korean car that was brought to America. I used to own Fords and Chevys. They constantly broke down. I don't have time for this. I took a chance on a Kia Soul. It's gold. Okay, folks? So I know, slap in the hand, I'm not buying American. Sorry. I find the Kia Soul works for me. I'm sticking with that. That is a foreign car sold over here. What a lot of people don't understand is in Europe and other countries, there's almost no Ford or Chevy dealers, folks. They're allowed to come here and profit off of us, but if we try to go over there, no, they got to buy from their country. That is the ultimate tariff thing. I'm telling you right now that people don't understand. We've got to step up here. We got to even the playing field. Look, that deficit, we're like, I think Russia's 75 trillion, and I think we come in at like 35. Like this, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to get this debt out of the way, but other countries owe us. Every war, we're sending our tax money over there. This is a way to help heavily even the damn playing field, and you got the best guy in there. At least that's going to have a stern spine because I realized we had a stock market crash. It was all over the headlines, especially this one. So, like I just got to laugh a little bit here. But look, am I telling you the dude's strategy, everything he's got in that his arsenal there is foolproof, and do I fully support? No, but we got to shake. We got to shake China, even if we're going to start getting stuff from India. Dave, I know you're kind of the guy that's all over this sort of thing, so feel free to chime in. Go first. Do you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I'm of two. So I get. Look, full disclaimer: I'm not an economist.
Okay.
So let me just lay that out. I get the whole trying to level the playing field that other countries, already have had tariffs against us, and that it's, but at a certain point, I think it's apples and oranges because we as a country are a much bigger market than many other countries, just 1-to-1 that are much smaller than us. So having like, oh, well, they have this percent, so we have this percent. I don't know that that's necessarily even. I'm all for, you say you used to have the Fords, you used to have the Chevys, but they kept breaking down. I don't think tariffs are the way to fix that. I think just make Chevys and Fords better and make them more affordable here.
Well, that's also where the two of buy American, and that creates American jobs. Because if this doesn't change, we're going to be Detroit part 2. Because that's the reason the Motor City crashed, because we weren't buying Americans. We're shipping jobs overseas. So we're making money for other countries. And however it is, it's got to get evened out. And we're always the ones, we're kind of like the kids. We're the parents that the kids run over. And we're like, they're there, they don't know any better. Like, okay, we'll clean that up for you. We've got to even this out. And I don't think there's another president that's going to come along that's going to be this balls tough for a long time on either side after his time's up. Ross, you got any chimes on this?
Yeah. Also not an economist, but I mean, I've been, studying politics and all that sort and American history for a long time, a lot like, Lauren. And I agree with everything Lauren said. Like, we need to even the playing field, reel in China, sure, all that stuff. I don't, probably some tariffs fits into that mix. He put tariffs on like an uninhabited island with penguins on it, so like the Trump, like, art of the deal, I'm not always sure there is a strategy. I mean, even some of his own economists are disagreeing with him, and they're predicting a recession. I know Lauren made the gag there with the screenshot, but I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope it just balances it out. It doesn't really seem like he has a strategy because the messaging has changed so much day to day. That doesn't mean it won't be fine in 2 weeks and it won't even out. I agree. Definitely real in China. The other thing is like car parts, you know what I mean? And then it's like, it's funny, right? Because like a lot of the people who were supporting Trump, like, I just mean like voters, are now like complaining about the prices of things going up and the tariffs and stuff. It's like, he said he was going to do that all along. He said that last term, you know what I mean? So if that's something that you somehow didn't manage to figure out in 8 years, I really don't know.
It's one of those things where you're like, to do something like this is going to shake waters. So it's one of those things I for myself, I went and bought like all my supplies. I'm talking about like everything from cleaning supplies, paper, like go buy all that now, hoard up a little bit till maybe September, because it is going to be a little bit of a ride. But the fact of the matter is we are the world leader, and this is just a big wiener contest. Each country is just flexing, and Donald Trump he's going to be our John Holmes one way or another with this one. I just think that's how it's going to work out. But
since he mentioned John Holmes there, I just want to say that Val played John Holmes in Wonderland, which is
what
also
great movie. Great freaking movie.
I got
nice callback to an earlier topic.
That's my thing, baby. That's my thing. I got so obsessed with that case for watching that movie. But anyway, tariffs. So I think they need to do a little bit more to the strategy. Like, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, real in China, like the deficit is insane. But I just don't know that. Like, he's talking about like 1870 to 1913. Like, a lot has changed economically, whereas you couldn't just remove the tax today and replace it with tariff revenue. Like, that's not really a thing. And go ahead, Dave.
It's such a different world than it was then.
Exactly.
And he himself is kind of, I would trust his plan more if he wasn't backpedaling him. Like, all right, let's do the tariffs. Stock market crash. Let's reel back. Like,
well, in reality, he's trying to break China because he pulled back all the tariffs except for China, because they're the ones that we need. They need to bend the knee first. That's why we're eyeing up India. And all this always comes down to is like resources. That's why he's like, he keeps bringing up Greenland and stuff. And reality, the whole thing with the Ukraine of us helping them is they got all the supplies. That's why Russia needs to get in there. That's why they're attacking them, to get those supplies. We need those supplies. So we just say like, hey, you do the fighting. Yeah. Like we try to look at what all America's ever been has been what's best for us. That is why a lot of people know this, Dave. I know you know. We went to Hawaii and said, "Yeah, we're going to take this." What? No.
I have no doubt in my mind, if Russia didn't have nukes, there would be U.S. troops in Ukraine, and it would be the next Vietnam.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, and it's like China, I think, since like South Africa now, like pulling out all the battery stuff like that supplies our phones that we need.
Lithium,
but at slave wages, like it's unfortunate, but there really is no good guy in the world, including the three of us sitting here and everybody listening to this. You're all wearing clothes made at slave wages. It's just sucks. So it's like in the end, we're all dirty, but like I don't want to pay $80 for this, like we can't afford that, so I don't know how you would ever balance all that out. I cannot ever call myself a world leader, but I do think these tariffs are good, especially another thing with like all the jobs that got lost in America for overseas. Well, it comes back over. Yeah, you're going to pay America for that. Like, like you took the job away. Yeah, we're going to tax you coming in,
Yeah, 100%.
that's another part with these tariffs here. So
yeah, I'm not obviously not for the outsourcing, but there's just certain messaging things that the Trump administration says that I guess maybe lands with like middle America, but does not resonate at all with the coast. And that's like, we're going to bring coal mining jobs back from the 60s. Like certain things just don't make any sense. And I'm not saying that there won't be a solution at the end of the day. You know, I think more than likely there will be definitely real in China, but like with the Ukraine thing, like we're going to go zap funding of foreign aid and all these other things like Doge, right? And all this stuff. But you ever heard them say anything about taking $1 back from Israel? You know what I mean? That's a topic they're so scared to touch. And that's not how it works. Isn't, hey, we're going to pull out of the Ukraine war and pull out the funding there. By the way, Israel can bomb Gaza into pebbles. You know what I mean? Like
that's the one thing Biden and Trump are 100% in agreement on.
Boom.
Israel can bomb the shit out of Gaza.
There you go. So there's always some Achilles heel like that where, you know what I mean, they won't address that by any means necessary. And it's like,
that's why I always say when I bring a topic, I'm an independent because like I just know on these sides, like you have to. I don't trust them. They're all strangers in suits. But to close this out, he's been in office a couple months now, and there's no guarantee in 2 years from now that he's going to have the House, you know, in the Senate. So he's basically on like he's got 21 months to do whatever he's trying to do with hands off. He could basically do, but in 2 years, if the House flips, then he's got more of a dam up. So,
100%.
You know, I'm thinking by September tops is going to be like. This did turn out great, or damn, this didn't work.